This is the live feed. It's your connection to live music and entertainment in Winona. Support for this program is made possible by the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund.
On tonight's episode of the live feed, we are joined in the studio by Palmer T. Lee, who is touring on the release of his debut solo album, Winebringer. Palmer is one half of the duo The Lowest Pair and is now branching out on his own with a hauntingly intimate sound. KQAL's Willard Huyck sat down with Palmer to discuss the album, his future plans, and of course to hear some tunes. I'm Bill Stoneberg, and here's Willard Huyck with Palmer T. Lee on tonight's live feed.
I'm Willard Huyck here at Winona State with Palmer T. Lee. How you doing, Palmer?
I'm doing pretty good, thanks.
Awesome. So, welcome back to the show. We've spoken to you before in your capacity as part of the Lowest Pair that was at Boats and Bluegrass in 2018. How have you been since then? What's been going on with Palmer? Have you been busy?
Yeah, some kind of busy. Not the usual busy. I've been holding up out on the West Coast. I tend to overwinter out there, every other year or so. And just staying busy, getting ready to launch this solo project, and that's been a lot,
Well, that brings me to my next question. So you're currently touring for your debut solo album, I should say, Winebringer. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that?
Yeah.
So how's that tour been going?
Oh, it's been great. I mean, it's exhilarating. It's terrifying. I've never toured solo before. I think in the last week I've doubled the amount of solo sets that I've ever played in my life.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just, like anything else that's sort of terrifying. It's also kind of wonderful.
Yeah. Now, it's my understanding that you're traveling by train. Is that right?
Yeah.
So just Amtrak then?
Amtrak trains, yeah.
And all the way from the West Coast.
Mm-hmm.
That's intense, man.
It's nice.
I'm sure. Yeah.
I mean, it's sort of like restricting and liberating at the same time. Yeah.
What's roughly the itinerary? Is it going
west to east, and then I've got one stop on my way back west.
How far east are you going?
Chicago.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be cool. That'll be a nice little tour. So you're also a part of the Lowest Pair. What compelled you to want to do a solo album?
I've been wanting to make a solo album and establish myself as like an independent songwriter for a long time. But I've always just given over the songs that I write to the projects that I'm working on. So it's been an aspiration for a long time. I think it came to fruition just because of what was happening in my life at the time was causing these songs to come out that I felt were a little too intimate to bring to the table for a project, and I really I wanted to, they were just mine, and yeah.
No, for sure. Tell me a little bit about the name of the album, Winebringer.
Yeah, it's based off of a collection from Hafiz called The Book of the Winebringer.
Okay.
Yeah. And I don't know a whole lot about it. I had just kind of stumbled upon it at one point, and within this book that I have, it's got 3 different books in it, and one of them is a long poem called The Book of the Winebringer.
Interesting.
Yeah. And it's just sort of, and it draws I got into reading Sufi poetry around the time that I was reading this, or maybe a little bit before. And so those sort of imageries and themes that are really common in Sufi poetry found their way into the lyrics of this record.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any stylistic differences between your work on the solo album and your work with the Lowest Pair?
I mean, from my perspective, I don't really think so, but I've found that other people seem to find differences in it. To me, I'm just kind of continuing to do the thing that I do. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm kind of, in terms of subjects, I'm kind of hopping around here. My mind just went back to the tour. What kind of venues are you playing? Is there any? Because last night you played Outpost Winona, which is a really cool spot.
Mm-hmm, it is, yeah.
It's my first time there. I covered a film screening there
cool.
a few months ago, and yeah, that was my introduction to it. I thought it was really cool.
Yeah, it's a great space.
What venues have you been typically playing?
So far everything has been house concerts. I think there's only 2 venues on the entire tour. No, there's 3.
House concerts.
Everything else is house concerts.
Meaning
yeah.
playing in someone's house?
Uh-huh.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really great. And part of that was just because of what I want this solo project to be like, and what I feel like is going to do justice for playing the songs from this record require a very specific, intimate listening setting.
Yeah.
So I didn't really have much of an interest in like playing breweries and bars and cafes or dinner clubs or anything like that.
Right. I want to return to that comment about intimacy in a second here, but first, would you like to do a quick song?
Oh, sure.
Awesome. Yeah. Awesome. What are you thinking? What's the...
I think I'm going to take a swing at a song called Fat Barred Owl.
Fat Barred Owl.
Yeah.
Awesome. Here's Fat Barred Owl. Palmer Thiele on KQAL.
A fat barred owl and your big leaf maple. I'll take that one when I return, just to chase away all your nightmare evenings. And you'll just stretch your arms and rub your eyes, maybe throw me a wink in the foggy dawn. I sat on your back porch waiting just to watch the sun rise like I used to do. And I had a little time, so I took it with an old time. A fiddling saint from St. Louis saying what I was trying to do. But the sun broke the sisters, the salt broke my eyes, and it made me feel like a man again. Oh, but I still long for those barred feathers. You can't wipe these tears from skin with skin while I'm still soaking this all in. But today I'm not that fat barred owl. Oh, there's a whole flock sleeping in my eyes. And there was a day that you stepped beside me. Your foot snapped a branch and startled them all, and they flew to the Skagit down from the sky. That fat barred owl and your big leaf maple. Well, I'll take that one when I return, just to chase away all your nightmare evenings. And you'll just stretch your arms and rub your eyes, maybe throw me a wink in the foggy dawn.
Fantastic job.
Thanks, man.
So that one was called Fat Barred Owl, is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
So earlier, right before the song, you were telling me a little bit about how this was more of a kind of you preferred intimate spaces to perform because the songs were kind of more intimate. And something kind of in preparation for this interview, when we were listening to the record, even in its production, we found that it sounds kind of very intimate. It sounds like you're right there in the room with the listener singing that song. Was there any particular recording process you went through to get that effect, to kind of get that mood, that vibe, that kind of intimate sense that you're in the room with the listener? If that's what you intended, that's what I picked up on.
Well, I definitely wanted it to have an intimate effect, yeah. I mean, the entire process was very intimate. It was very raw, very personal. Obviously, maybe. No, but, well, the process was just that I had gone in and did half of the songs. I did 6 songs with just me and a guitar, 2 microphones. And I guess that's about as intimate as you can make it.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
and
absolutely.
Then the other half of the songs, I put together a string band from folks around town. A friend of mine, Bevan Foley from Trout Steak Revival, she flew in from Denver and helped me work on the record. And we all just met up Friday night and ran through the songs 4 or 5 times, and then got up in the morning and ran them all once again and went right into the studio. So
that's awesome.
I feel like that also gave it sort of a raw vibe, you know, that nobody knew the songs for more than 24 hours before we laid them down.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Do you have a specific preference? So obviously this is, because there's still a little bit of collaboration involved with solo work, obviously. Like you said, you had to kind of assemble like a studio band, or like you said. Are there differences between the process of making solo work and the processes of working with, you know, the Lowest Pair and those guys? Yeah,
definitely. I think that was part of why I wanted to make this collection of songs into a solo album, like I'd mentioned, because they just felt much more personal. And working solo, you know, I get to just sort of tell everybody what to do, kind of, you know? And of course I want them to have sort of like that freedom to express themselves in that translation of my idea, you know, which is still a translation of my idea, whereas like working in a band or even in a duo, you know, there's a lot of politics, I suppose, you know, in that creative process.
Yeah, absolutely. You talked a little bit about poetry already as far as inspiration goes. Is there something that you draw inspiration from in particular?
Well, other songwriters inspire my music. Poetry, for in large part. I mean, other writers in general inspire my music. And I guess just situations that are happening, thoughts that are happening, and sometimes what I like to do is just sort of really surround myself and become absorbed in other people's art, and then I just kind of go about my day. I might be out like running in the woods or washing the dishes, and I feel like because of all of this atmosphere that I've created in my mind, things will just sort of happen. Like I'll start thinking about things happening in my life in that sort of same way, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I just want to make sure I have the correct understanding here. So do you split your time between Minnesota and the West Coast, is that correct?
Yeah, Olympia, Washington.
Well, what's the situation there? Is it just...
Well, Kendall lives there, my bandmate.
Okay.
Yeah, that was
Okay.
the impetus for making that transition that I never really fully made.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, right.
I mean, I just really like Minneapolis a lot. You know, the Driftless a lot. I mean,
Are you from here, or from Minnesota?
I was born in Minnesota. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I just started going out west when I was maybe 29 or something like that.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Want to do another song?
Sure. Yeah. I think I'm gonna do one called Aw Geez.
Aw geez,
Aw
as in
geez.
aw geez.
Aw geez.
I
Yeah, just like that.
Awesome. Well, here's Palmer T. Lee with Aw Geez on KQAL.
It was just before the weekend. They kicked God out of the garden and wondered why she would forsake them. Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. Don't you remember that one time there was that wise old holy man? You know, the one, he invented the soda can, and he named it everything and said, look now, y'all could just hold it right in your hand. Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. So tell me what you getting all been out of shape for? Just tell me what you getting all been out of shape for? Don't you know who you are? Just to be the dust in your doorstep, to kiss the soles of your feet with my dirty lips, for what I am as a salve against your skin, mama. Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. Oh, you got me singing, baby, baby, you're so yummy that I wish I could just live inside of your tummy. That no one could see me, no one else could eat me, no one else could even try to love me. Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. So tell me what you getting all been out of shape for? Just tell me what you getting all been out of shape for? Don't you know who you are? Madrugada, you just walk by and you ruin me with your shaking, dripping cup of coffee blessings. See, now I'm just a salve for any pain, ailment, or poverty. You know, I believe. Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. Just tell me what you getting all been out of shape for? Just tell me what you getting all been out of shape for? Just tell me what you getting all been out of shape for? Don't you know who you are? Just tell me what you getting all been out of shape for? Please tell me what you getting all been out of shape for? Oh, just what you getting all been out of shape for? Oh, what are you getting all been out of shape for? I don't understand what you're getting all bent out of shape for. Don't you know who you are?
That was Palmer T. Lee with Odd G's on KQAL. Great job on that one again.
Thanks, man.
Your lyricism is really impressive, I thought. That's something, just listening to your stuff, it's that's just something I noticed while you were going along. Because again, we caught up to you in 2018 at Boats and Bluegrass. Mm-hmm. How long has this album been in the works? How long did it take for you to...
Well, to be honest, I made this record 2 years ago. And it just sort of, I don't know, sometimes you make something and you don't really know what's going to happen with it. And this record just kind of sat there for a while. And then it became very clear that it was the time to release it.
Yeah.
You know, partially just out of necessity.
Yeah. How long did it take to record?
To make the record, it took 2 sessions. Two long days in the studio to make it. And I wrote the songs over the course of about 2 months leading up to that.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. How's the tour been going? Has it generally?
It's been going good. You know, it's like there's the sort of, I mean, with any tour, there's ups and downs, highs and lows, you know. And
yeah.
Touring solo, those highs are a little higher and the lows are a little lower, you know.
Right.
If something gets all wonky, there's no one to help you figure out how to fix it.
I was going to say, is it bizarre kind of going it alone this time around, or are you alone?
You know, it's strangely enough, it doesn't feel that bizarre. It feels very natural.
Yeah.
I mean, I like being alone.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
Are you getting a chance to get out when you're at these tour stops? You're getting a chance to get out and see the city or the location?
The sites.
Sites, yeah.
You know, a little bit. It really varies. You know, every day is always different, you know, with the schedule.
Right.
The train schedules dictate what my day looks like in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
But like in Bellingham, for instance, I got in real early in the morning and kind of milled around for a bit because the host of the house concert wasn't going to be home until like 5 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And one of the things that he was doing was he was going for a hike in the woods, and so when he decided to do that, he gave me a call, and I went for a hike. And it's a really beautiful piece of the country out there, like the Pacific Northwest. You know, Bellingham is right on the water.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was really lovely. It wasn't so much exploring the town, but that part of the country.
Well, yeah, no, it's still, absolutely, it still counts. Still getting out to see the sites. That's cool. I'm glad you got the opportunity to do that.
Mm-hmm.
How long will you be out supporting the project? As I guess, how long will you be touring?
Yeah, this tour is the last show is on. Is it the 8th or is it the 6th? I think February 6th. So only about a week left on this tour, and then probably late spring, midsummer, I'll go out and do another tour. The record will be coming out on vinyl around April or May. So then I'll tour to promote that as well.
For sure.
Yeah.
Awesome. One thing that we like to do here at KQAL is, it's just a fun question. We like to know what guests listen to, as far as like what's on your playlist, what you've been listening to lately. Is there anything that immediately comes to mind? and some, like, I have a lot of variety. So sometimes, like, even like if I were to hypothetically answer that question, it'd be hard to answer that question. Right. So if that's the case, I totally get it.
I mean, to me, I have a relative amount of variety, but it's a pretty narrow scope of variety, I think. I've been listening to Hocktail a lot lately.
Awesome.
I usually listen to Jason Isbell very often. May early wine. Been listening to one of her records quite a lot on this trip.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Short to top of my head.
No, you're good. Where can listeners find out more about you, the project, whether that be social media, websites, any of that? What are some resources for that?
Yeah, palmertlee.com. has like my tour schedule and things on there. I'm on all the social media things, just listed as Palmer T. Lee, Facebook, Instagram, all that.
For sure.
And the record is streaming on all of your favorite streaming things.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I got I'm the only person on earth with Tidal, and I got it. So we're good.
Good for
we're
you.
rolling. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. I mean, that one pays a lot better than Spotify.
Right.
We don't need to talk about that. Everybody knows about that problem.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Want to take us out with a song?
Sure. Which one should I do? What am I gonna do? Maybe I'll do Rag. I'll do the first track.
Here's Palmer T. Lee with Rag on KQAL.
There are things that are hidden here, things that I've placed under and behind other things, out of fear or out of wisdom that I may find them too soon. But I'm always moving toward the time, and tender-footed and tender-hearted. The strong ones, they pass through this world just like a kitchen rag, and you can put them through the ringer and they'll just fit and fold and fine. They've got room now for a few new stains. Have you always fallen out of love so easy? And how do I stop myself from thinking it's just lazy? But where do I get off thinking anyone could keep on loving me? Sure, my passion never goes, but my body's always leaving. But in my dream, it was $100 in my coat from last winter. And it was my favorite poetry book behind a glass of marbles under the shelf. And it was a friendship I'd never noticed before, and it was all in one night's sleep. I guess I'll just poke around for a bit, and I'll keep in touch, and I'll go from there. Oh, and Merry Christmas and Happy Birthday. I'm going back to bed.
Thanks again to Palmer T. Lee for joining us on tonight's live feed. To learn more about Palmer and his music, go to palmertlee.com. To stream tonight's show or any other episode of the live feed, go to KQAL.org and look for program archives under the Media tab. I'm Bill Stoneberg, and you've been listening to Willard Huyck with Palmer T. Lee on the live feed.
Thanks for listening to The Live Feed. The live feed is produced by KQAL-FM on the campus of Winona State University. For more information on tonight's show, visit us at kqal.org.
Like what you just heard? Tune in to the live feed featuring local and regional artists every Wednesday and Friday night at 6 right here on 89.5 KQAL. The live feed is made possible by a grant from the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund.